Why do we suffer at the hands of these politicians? Don't you know politicians work for you? You're the boss. You hire them and you fire them. Look at their campaign. You know what they do? They audition.
Yeah.
When you put them on the job, if they're not doing the job, then you fire them. Because you're in control. From the city to the state to Congress to the president. You run.
Hello, this is Jerry Williams again, and you're back with Talk Labor. We're back here because this is what we do. We talk. Hey, we got a great lineup for you tonight. We're going to center a little bit on the coalition because of the meeting that we had in on December 13th with the attorneys. I want to bring you up to date as to what's going on. We're going to talk a little bit about why some people get shot when the police stop them and some people don't. We're going to talk about, some of the things that the guy do in the White House, or just a little bit. We're not going to give you a lot of that because I know you're oversaturated with that, And then we're going to talk about some of the things that our ancestors did. And I think you're going to really, 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 really enjoy the show today, So let's do this. Let's start out by, you know what I want to do? I'm going to do something a little bit different today. I'm going to start out by talking about what happened in, I think it was Texas, where this bodybuilder almost killed his girlfriend. I mean, he stomped her and beat her and tried his best to kill her. And you know what? They caught all of it on tape. On tape. I mean, this guy was, I felt sorry for this lady. And he was just beating her. And nobody was there to help her. And, the bad thing about it is she was out for a while. Now, I want you to see this clip, but she was out for a while. She was beaten unconscious. The neighbors came over and saved her. This guy took off in his car and left. Police finally caught up with him, and he resisted arrest. He went after him. And I think they shot him about 7 times with tasers, trying to, control this big bodybuilder guy, trying to control this guy, And my thing is, you look at this tape, then you tell me why he's still alive. Had he been African American, he would have been dead by now. He would actually be dead by now. But I want you to take a look at this tape, and you see what I'm talking about. Just take a look at it.
35-year-old bodybuilder Paul Bashy was arrested in July 2018 on attempted murder charges of his 22-year-old live-in girlfriend, Christina Perry, for allegedly beating and stabbing her for approximately 40 minutes. On footage you'll see shortly, recorded in late July by a camera in the living room of his rented home in Washington Township, Michigan, Bashy is first seen in his tidy-whities going through a cell phone, supposedly hers. Perry then enters through the front door shortly after, and he immediately attacks her on what is claimed by his attorney to be roid rage. He used furniture, knives, and a lit glass-encased candle to assault her. She didn't fight back. His pit bull ran around unsure of what to do. Perry was found on the front porch by neighbors who were walking by. Bashy was arrested soon after when he was found on a nearby street, with blood all over him. On a search of the home by police, human growth hormone gintropin was found. Bashy's attorney, David Graham, claimed in court this past Monday that at the time he was using great quantities of steroids preparing for a national bodybuilding competition. Perry, who was in a coma for days, has now recovered. In a move not uncommon to anyone who knows anyone who is a victim of domestic violence, appeared in court this week to ask for the charges against him to be dismissed, as the beating and multiple stabs that she suffered by the hands and feet of this beast, she said, was her fault. Her request, of course, was denied. Macomb County Prosecutor Eric Smith told Fox 2 Detroit that his office handles about 2,500 domestic violence cases each year, and of those cases, 60% of the victims, that is 60% of the victims either recant their story or don't show up at all. If his pit bull or any other dangerous pet were to attack a human being the way he did his girlfriend, in accordance with the law, that animal would be put down. So where is the law to put down a human being who attacks another human being like a crazed dog? That's a law authorities need to consider enacting, especially if there's video evidence available. I'm also okay with the same for same law, and that would be where the victim or a member of the victim's family is allowed to subject the perpetrator with the same abuse he or she bestowed on the victim. This scum in his tidy-whitey is currently being held in a Macomb County jail on a $5 million bond. He is facing 1 count of sexual assault with the intent to murder and 1 count of controlled substance with the intent to deliver or manufacture. Miss Perry, or anyone listening who's in a similar situation, there is still hope for you. Please break the cycle for yourself or for any children you have or you may have in the future. Please, please, please leave now. Call this number that you're seeing on the screen right now if you need to. Get help. Get out.
Okay, we're back. And you see what I'm talking about? I mean, this baffles my mind. And she actually went and said, please let him go. Damn, she was out. I think she lost one of her eyes. And she met him on the internet. Well, that's her thing. But, you know, my thing is, if you're going to do it for one, do it for all. Do it for all. You didn't shoot and kill this guy. Don't shoot and kill a person because of the color of his skin. You know, because that, to me, is the most coward thing you can do. We ain't going to spend a lot of time on that. What I want to do is spend some time on what happened, and we're going to get right to what happened at the coalition meeting on December 13th. I'm going to have a clip that I want you to see. But prior to me giving you that, first of all, let me give this to you. I got a call. Somebody said a guy's running around saying he filed a lawsuit and he won his lawsuit. And, you know, and for the same thing that we filed our lawsuit for. That he won his lawsuit and, you know, just carrying on. And so somebody sent me a copy of it. First of all, the guy did not win his lawsuit. Okay? What he got was the right to file his lawsuit. Always read what they say. Somebody he said he got his money. If he got his money, tell him to show you a copy of the check. That's how you defuse all the garbage. Show you a copy of the check. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that because I know this guy and he does that type of thing. Another thing I found out, the guy, from what I understand, retired in 2007. He has nothing coming. But let's move on. What happened at the meeting, we had the attorneys at the meeting, and I'm going to show you a clip in a minute. And one of the things that they were talking about was the fact that I think it's the healthcare trust and the pension plan, how they, you know, were talking about they actually were suing each other because they were saying that way, hey, if they win, we shouldn't have to pay, you guys should pay. And the other guy says, well, no, I mean, if they win, you guys should pay because we don't care who pays. You just have to pay us, okay? If everything works out for us. Again, Then you had, now I've been dealing with depositions for the last 2 weeks. And I think they've done just about all the depositions. Now we're talking about actually hitting it into court now. And this is where the rubber meets the road. You're going to hear from the attorneys in the just a short clip of the that we did. We took at the meeting, because we filmed a whole lot, but it'll kill the whole show if you try to put the whole meeting on there. But you'll get an idea of what was going on and how things work. You had people that were, one guy was concerned about how the CTA would pay back our money. I'm not concerned. He's saying, well, you know, would it cost other people money? I don't care. They took it from us illegally, so you pay it back to us legally. Now, I understand you had the president of one local 241 saying that, well, if they come back, if they pay them their money, then that means they're going to take money from our members. That's a piss poor leader. To let CTA tell him that, well, we illegally took the money from the retirees, and if we have to pay them back, we're going to take it out on your members, and you run around and cry and whine about it. Should be telling CTA that's a damn lie. You won't take nothing from my members. You're going to pay it out of your pocket if you have to. But let's get past that. For those who are weak and are concerned about that, first of all, do your due diligence. Do your homework on that. The Health Care Trust is overfunded. All you have to do is check it. It's overfunded. And if they pay us our money back, it will still be overfunded. All the money they owe us. And it's about 50-something million probably, I think about now. But they would have to pay, they would still be overfunded. So don't get caught up in that. And if they were broke, I wouldn't care. Because they didn't care if I was broke. They didn't care if you were broke. When they took your money from you, they didn't say, hey, will you be able to pay your house note? Hell no. They just took your money. And it was illegal. So that's where you're at right now. So what I want you to do is take a look at this clip. And it kind of gives you an idea of what I'm talking about. And the attorneys are I'm very proud of these guys. They're doing a very good job. You see the members there that at the meeting, you know, and they understood exactly what's going on at that meeting. Now, that's the portion that the attorneys were dealing with. Prior to the attorneys coming up, you know, we talked about what's going on as far as your right, you having the right to put a retiree on that board. The reason that's so important, right now, I got a call from some of the pensioners that went down to the meeting. They're saying that the pensions are going belly up and we got problems, right? Explain to me why they're trying to give, and this is second to me now, this is what they tell me was put on the table, a $40,000 pay increase to Hector Flores, who really shouldn't be there in the first place. They're trying to give him a $40,000 pay increase. If that's true, and I'm telling you, I'm getting this from guys that went down there. If that's true, that is borderline criminal. Because these guys, and this was passed out at the coalition meeting, show where there are several people, management people, that maybe put up $25,000. They only had 3 years on the CTA or less or more, no more than 5. Put up $25,000 into our pension plan. But they took over $500,000 out. Not just 1 or 2. They're taking the money that we put into the plan. Why? Because they take the vote and they voted that way. And they voted to give themselves that kind of money. Why? Because the unions have no strength anymore. They took away the block votes, so the union can vote all day long. They got 4 votes, CTA got 7. So they're going to win every time. That's what's going on. You have a right as a retiree to put a retiree on that board, and that's what we're going to do. That's exactly what we're going to do. Because then the union will have at least 5 votes. CTA will have 5, and you're supposed to have independent, but that independent is supposed to be He's from the RTA. There are no unions at the RTA. Okay, but I want to tell you that and let you know that the I think the lawsuit is moving very, very good now. Like I told people before, we had to fight almost 7, 8 years to have the right to go to court. Now we got the right. We got that right. We started in early 17 going to court. Now the rubber finna hit the road right now. Okay, so we're not gonna say you're gonna get your money right now tomorrow, but the rubber's about to hit the road on that. Stay with us. Listen to what the attorney says on this clip, okay? And I'll come right back. Listen to the clip.
That's the entity that has established the plans, the PPO and the HMO plans that the retirees access when they retire.
Got a question. Did on the healthcare trust and the plan, did they file complaints against each other at one time?
They have, well, the retirement plan has filed its own claims over against the healthcare trust, and the retirement plan's claim against the healthcare trust essentially says, hey, if we have to make this group of retirees whole by paying them back all the premium that they've paid over the years and pay them damages for all the out-of-pocket expenses that they've incurred over the years, healthcare trust, you should pay us back because you're the one that's collected all the money over all these years and you're the one that's responsible for providing the health care. So there is some finger pointing going on between the two defendants. I will also tell you that the retirement plan tried to assert a claim back against Jerry and Larry and Stuart and the proposed class, which we opposed, and when we opposed it, they actually rolled over and withdrew it because our opposition was so clear that they couldn't do what they were trying to do. They simply withdrew it and dropped it. So,
In other words, they tried to sue me for suing me.
So, the health trust plan actually one is holding the money now.
correct. What happens is the retirement plan is the one that makes the deductions from your retiree pension checks each month to the extent that you're paying for your health insurance by pension check deduction. And then the retirement plan turns around and gives that money to the healthcare trust for the health care that you're receiving.
Okay, did you get kind of an idea of what I'm talking about? Did you get an idea of where we're coming from? And like I said, we got about 500 people that are members of the coalition, and we have good people came out to the meeting, asked great questions, and got information that they understood and was passed out information, so they took it with them. Okay, the other little guy that says he won his lawsuit, not true. We're not going to deal with that. Okay, so if you have any questions, give your officers a call. That's Claude Funches, President. Benny Rogers from Local 241, Vice President. Then you have Suzette Smith from Local 308, Secretary. Larry Whitehead, Local 241, Treasurer. And then you have Ronald Roach, Sergeant at Arms, Tommy Little, Assistant Treasurer. And then you have John Dotson, Sergeant at Arms. Okay, we're gonna try to keep you up to date. Now that things are moving, watch this show. Okay, I'm gonna be giving you from time to time updates on what's going on as far as the lawsuit is concerned, because I know you're interested, just like I am. Want all my money back. And also gonna give you updates on a pensioner sitting on that pension board as a trustee. You all got to understand how important that is. That is ultra important that we get that. The law says we're supposed to have it. Nobody's ever challenged it. We are challenging it. Okay? And don't let anybody tell you you can't. Every time they tell me I can't, I do. So I have no respect for anybody that from that organization over there that says you can't do this and you can't do that. Okay, what we want to do now, we're going to move on a little bit. And people ask me, you know, Jerry, how do you, these people that voted for Trump, what in the world would make them vote for a person like that? And I'm going to tell you something. When people ask me who voted for Trump, I say a picture is worth 1,000 words. So check this picture out right over here. Check this picture out. It's worth 1,000 words, okay? That's who voted for Trump. Them type people there. You know what I want to do? I want you to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to take a little short break. We're going to come right back. Okay? We'll be right back.
I'm Danny Jo Williams with Infinite Scholars. We'd like to thank the Chicago Teachers Union Foundation for being a sponsor. Thank you.
My name is Simone Edwards. I'm the CFO and Vice President at Chicago State University. On behalf of our President, Z. Scott, we'd like to welcome you and thank you for participating in such a great event.
We have Joanne Jones. She's got a scholarship from Contaga, $3,000 per year. Joe Rogers, he got a scholarship at Talladega, $4,000 a year. Denise Frazier, she has 2 scholarships. Talladega, $6,000, and Wilberforce, $12,000. Congratulations.
All I wanna do is run free. All I wanna do is run free.
Okay, we're back. And have you all ever heard of Margaret and Matilda? They used to call them Pete and Repeat. They were the first African-American duo, and these were female, to hold a record for doubles in tennis. You see, if we don't keep up with our own history, it just gets washed out. I want you to go up and go back and look it up. Margaret and Matilda Peters, and they were called Pete and Repeat. They were the baddest tennis players out there from 1938 through 1941. They held the records on the doubles. You know, I happened to be researching and ran up on this, and I thought it was fantastic. That's Margaret and Matilda Peters. Go look that up. Google it up for yourself. And just, you're going to enjoy that. You're going to really enjoy that. One other thing I want you to do, I want you to go and read my book, Ungrateful, The Rise and Fall of Labor Unions. If you haven't read it, go and read it. Please, for yourself. This is written for you. I'm not in the unions anymore, but this is for you. It talks about more than just unions. It talks about what's going on around you. So go pick that book up. You can pick it up at Barnes & Noble, Amazon. You can pick it up everywhere. It was a pretty good seller too. So make sure you do that. And before I leave now, my next show is going to be a special. With the young man, it's going to be a whole special on this. I'm very excited about interviewing these young people that are doing some great things in the city of Chicago and the surrounding area. These people are doing some great things. So I'm going to be doing an interview of those individuals, and you're gonna really want to see this. Okay. Now, as we leave, I'm going to leave you with this. If you all, Chris Rock said, if we, take this much time and money and spend on, he said, a fake holiday, would you? When he said fake Santa Claus and all that stuff. If we take our money and pool it together, we'll be one of the richest groups in the whole United States. We, African Americans, take our money and start pooling it together, buying from each other, with each other, and inside each other. We become giants. So I'm gonna leave you with this last clip, and it's kind of like African American towns back in the 1920s, 1930s. Just take a look at this and see where your ancestors were and where they came from. Okay. Okay. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna see you again next week, and we're gonna be talking about labor. We're gonna be talking about the mayoral election. We're going to be talking about just about anything you can imagine. Oh, by the way, I got an offer from the new governor-elect to come down and watch him get sworn in. And I think we probably going to go down there and do it. We got a couple of tickets, so we're going to go down there. And if we do, I'm going to try to take some pictures and get back to you. All right? We're going to see you again at Talk Labor, so what do? Keep talking. See you then.
And Oklahoma is a unique space in terms of the number of African American towns that were established. Some suggest upwards of 50 African American towns between 1924 and 1928. Reverend S.S. Jones was going around documenting this sort of self-determined, vibrant African American communities. You see the African American educators, doctors, lawyers, landowners, oil barons. And I think that's what's so remarkable about this footage. To think that individuals, how many years out of slavery, are now owning oil wells that are producing 2,000 barrels a day. Is that not the ultimate American dream? Is that not the ultimate American story? It flies in the face of what I think some people consider part of African American history and culture. And I think that was one of the things that Oklahoma and what S.S. Jones is really kind of showing is that African American history and culture is not a monolith. And in a way, it became kind of like a marketing tool to encourage individuals to migrate, to move there, that this is a place where you can live, you can thrive, and peacefully reside. There were still palpable racial tensions. There are lynchings, there's Jim Crow, segregation, there's all of these things, and you still have an African American community, or many communities, that really speak to the fortitude and resilience of Black people in this country.